You know, for the longest in my life, whenever I hear the term black conservative, I'm thinking about somebody who's at high risk of catching diabetes because of all the Kool-Aid that they drink. What I do? I just finished watching the last episode of Jubilee with actor, writer, overall black voice Amanda Seales versus 20 black conservatives. And boy, was it a watch. There was a few things that stood out to me, but these are the few that I actually want to break down to you. The first one was the blue suit and tie brother. And he spoke a lot about lack of black accountability, lack of black fathers in the home, and it had nothing to do with mass incarceration. Nah, it's because of their own poor black choices. And he also gave a very horrible MLK impression by quoting it. And I find it so interesting because I always felt that there's been no other figure who has been culturally whitewashed and romanticized like the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. People often use his quotes for me as a sign of laziness or to protect a white oppressionist theme. The second thing that stood out to me was the yellow shirt wearing kid, and he displayed all of the negative stereotypes of a young black immigrant. He was anti-black. He was deeply rooted in everything is our fault because we twerk, and King Von and everybody rap about violence. So we are in this position because we are here. And he had no sources to back it up. And Amanda, after going back and forth with him, actually showed him a little bit of grace. She said to him, and I'm paraphrasing, I can tell, but you're in the phase of this learning where you're bent on being a contrarian. And I look forward to seeing you grow because you're going to flip. Shout out to Amanda because she has way more faith than I do, because I believe that certain people, they get a sexual urge rush out of being opposite for the sake of being opposite's sake. Okay, these are the individuals that have no interest in learning. They are only bent on being what they feel is right. And they just want to feel good about disruption. The third thing that stood out to me was the brother that was wearing the Israel chain. I think he was the first one that actually was talking. And he said a lot, but he said one thing I actually want to quote, and that was, our ancestors weren't asking for handouts. They were asking for equal opportunities, unquote. You know what? You're right. Our ancestors were not asking for handouts. They were out there too busy trying not to be slaves. And he even went on and ranting and start quoting or putting in Harriet Tubman in his rant, and Amanda had to check him, because for somebody who is bent on we should not be given things and we should go out there and work hard, you are speaking about a country that is benefiting from the labor, the free black labor of black folks. Go figure. Overall, when I watch this whole thing and I watch those conservatives, those black conservatives in that room, they remind me of people even in my journey. Not only are they misinformed, but they are committed, universally committed to this theme that black people are in the state that they're in because of their own blackness, that it is because of black culture that is toxic that we created is the reason why we won't go any further. White ice is simply colder, okay? And individuals like Harriet Tubman and Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, they didn't give you a basic response to an immoral justice. No, that's not what their actions were. They were magic Negroes sent from heaven by Woodstock Jesus to spread peace and love by passing out sweet potato pie. Shout out to Amanda Seales. A lot of people actually feel as if it was a waste of time for her to speak in that room, but I kind of disagree. If you watch any video clip or you hear an audio clip of the black voices of back in the day, the Black Panthers, the Angela Davises, the James Baldwin, the Malcolm X, and the Nikki Giovannis, they were often on platforms surrounded by people who largely disagreed with them. And sometimes they understood the importance of speaking your truth in these lion dens, in these rooms, because truth and speaking it is important at an away game sometimes. It don't matter. You can't always speak it amongst your own people. You have to go and you have to speak it out so that you can be heard. Amanda actually held her own in that room, and nobody actually disputed or doubt that. But sometimes the value of doing that can fall on deaf ears. But I am a believer that you have to speak truth to power no matter where you are. Who you are on mic, you got to be somebody off that mic. And if your truth is needed in that room, then you have to speak it. It does not matter if you are surrounded by a gang of anti-intellectuals who are so bent on being right that they hate evidence and they hate facts, because who wants to believe in facts when you feel in your heart that the tooth fairy is coming to deliver a brand new pair of Jordans because you're a good boy who voted for Trump? You see how that don't make sense?